Hi guys, Alex Peak Performance Reviews. Welcome to another vlog, new video for you. And this time, you probably see in the title, it is all about Ford KAs. Now, I have just bought this Ford KA and I've actually just bought another. And the reason being, we are going to go racing. I'm sure if you've been following us on all the different social networks, if you don't, make sure you do. We're on Instagram, Facebook, etc, etc, etc. We're about to go racing in the Ford Enduroka championship. Links in the bio for everything, all the information. But basically we picked this up. We picked two cars up actually. One was a scrapper we're going to use as a spare. Still low mileage, it's got a good engine, good gearbox. It's just a bit too rusty to race. I've been searching for a good car for the last 3-4 weeks, and it's so hard to find a Ford KA with no rust, or little rust, should I say. Everyone's got rust. This one's a really good shell. 50,000 miles on the clock. Picked it up literally only a few days ago, and it's in really good condition. You probably can see from here, but I'll show you around the car, and we're going to go racing with it. And first port of call and the first video is going to be stripping it down to bare inside, so we can get the roll cage in, seats, and etc. Let me tell you a bit more about the championship. Yeah, welcome to my humble little abode. And yeah, obviously in the little KA, these are very no frills basic cars. They were built on a real budget by the guys at Ford, and to afford to the masses, and because of that, the second-hand value of these are now super cheap. Although this KA Enduro Championship is starting to bring up the values of them a little bit, because loads of people basically buying these ready to rock and roll and race. So I'm going to tell you a bit more about the championship. The idea was basically conceived by the guys at Burton Power, and they spoke to the guys at MSVR and said, we've been watching some of this budget racing malarkey, things like the C1, which obviously you've seen me racing. If you haven't, watch up. There's me racing at Spa. Go and watch that video. And yeah, basically they the guys at Burton and MSV decided to do a budget championship of their own. Obviously, being performance Ford related, Burton Power thought, why not corner the market and certainly go for a Ford KA championship and a Ford KA endurance championship. So they the guys made up a good championship name, Enduro KA, Enduroka, and basically decided to get the format through the kind of MSA rulebook, or Motorsport UK now book, and yeah, decide to make a championship, an endurance championship. And now there's basically already 30 people registered, ready to rock and roll and race and build cars and enter this championship. We've just got our assigned race number, which is 88. So we're just hopefully going to get that accepted. And we are definitely building a Peak Performance Reviews race KA. We've got loads of little quirky ideas for things and livery. If you've got any ideas, obviously the car's blue, think of any livery ideas and give us an idea of what you think maybe we should include or think about. And yeah, basic synopsis of kind of the championship. Low budget tyres. They're going to be running on a Toyo CF2, I think they're called. I'll correct that in the bio if not, and I'll give you all the kind of rules and regs and the links to that as well. Right, I'm going to reel off really quickly control parts for this KA championship. Strip the car out. Roll cage, FIA approved racing seat and apparel, etc, and suit and boot, and as normal. It's going to be door-to-door racing. And then you've got control components like the flex poly bushes all round. Roll cage from Safety Devices, that's and everything else is bought through Burton Power. I'll give you a link in the bio. As well as that, there's control suspension, which is a Bilstein, really nice suspension. They're just sorting out the spring rates and settings and height and spring strength, etc, or rate. Control brakes are just a Mintex M1144, I believe it is. Braided brake lines, things like that you can have. Other than that, it's pretty much it. There's nothing much to this. Obviously, fire suppression, which you have to have for FIA rules. And other than that, get a number on the car, go racing, get it prepped, get ready, rock and roll. Real quick extra bit to the championship. Obviously, it's going to be door-to-door racing, proper races, 1 hour qualification, and then followed by race duration, which is going to be different for each different circuit. Cadwell, Donington, Snetterton, Brands Hatch, Alton Park, I think that's it. Apart from the suspension and control things like the poly bushes and a few little brake components, realistically it's pretty much a standard car. That's part of the reason why this is going to be an awesome championship. These have got great chassis anyway, so they're going to be fun, with control and really good suspension and a few little things we can do to geometry without going too far. These are going to be, you know, decently quick around a circuit, but again, racing door to door with like powered stock engine components. Basically, there's no filters, no power adders that are on the motor, so they're not allowed. So it's strictly going to be 68 horsepower Duratec motor, or the 60 horsepower motor I think you can use as well. These are provisional, but soon to be confirmed reg conformities, so you'll have to stick to. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, it's going to be good. People laugh when I told them about the C1 racing championship, and I tell you what, when you watch the footage, they do look really slow, but I race, and I have raced things with a lot more power. I've driven cars with a lot more power around circuit, but rest assured, I promise you, from the inside in the car, when it's kind of going sideways and it's pitching and it's rolling, it's really, really good fun to drive. If you're ever down at a circuit and you see one of them, come and collar us, and if we trust you, we might let you out, and if not, come out with us, and you'll see how much fun these are. So it's going to be a really good fun championship, so keep an eye on it. It's going to be awesome. A race duration is going to differ from place to place. There's going to be a 5-hour race, I believe a 6-hour race. One is 8.33, which is 500 minutes or something like that. I think that's Brands. And then Snetterton is going to be 12 hours. So there's lots of different durations. I suspect next year they'll try and do more higher duration races, maybe look into 24-hour races with these KAs. Just got kind of having a feel a year, I guess, to see how much longevity there is in this Duratec motor and the gearbox, etc. And it'll be a real kind of learning year for the championship, the MSV and Burton Power. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Watch on. Let's crack on with the build. Let's strip the shit out of this car and get it fast. And all you other people that are watching who are going to be racing, we're coming for you. We're coming for you. But let's show you around the car first. Boom, chicka, bow, wow. Look at this. Sexy, eh? Nah, but all jokes aside, it's a pretty clean car. Most of these suffer from rust. It's been painted over, to be fair. It's got a bit there, but underneath it's actually a really, really clean car. You see from in here. Oh no, I'll go the other side. So yeah, this we bought this car and it's got, like I say, 50,000 miles on the clock. It had been owned by a really, really nice family who we picked it up off. It's, like I say, it's really quite a tidy car. So it's going to be good for racing. I think it was a lady owner for a good 5 years, and then prior to that, for about 10 years, it was I think her father. Yeah, it's really been well looked after. It's got a CD player that's staying in there. We're going to rock out when we're racing, and yeah, but look, pretty tidy. Poor thing's going to get stripped now. Oh well. So out with the mats. Mats are out. Bit of a bugger. Not all of these come with rev counters. This one hasn't, and my spare one hasn't either. So when we're racing, when we've got our helmets on, it might be a bit awkward to kind of hear the revs rise and the engine harmonics to kind of guess when you need to change gear, really. So I think we're going to retrofit, which you are allowed, maybe a rev counter. Yeah, bit of a bugger. We've got to do it, but probably worthwhile. Like I say, look, you can tell actually how clean it is by the struts, towers at the top. But yeah, it looks, it's a tidy car. Shame we're gonna have to gut it, take it all out. And looking fairly tidy in there, as you can see. This basic KA interior is actually putting up a lot more of a fight than I thought. There's some really awkward little star drive bolts, I think, or screws there. They're T50, I believe. Absolute pig. They're in really awkward positions and they're super tight. They feel like they're Loctited in or something, but oh well, we're getting on. This bolt is an arsehole. Don't ask, if needs must. Progress. Right, quick progress report. Let's have a little look. So obviously the front dash is still inside. Let's flip this round. And that hasn't taken too long, but actually it's put up more of a fight than I thought. But I tell you what, I can't believe how much weight there is in some of these components. It's going to be awesome to feel what this car feels like without them on. I can't wait. Getting excited now, turning this into a race car. But yes, so far so good. Handle really, really well, but I've got to show you this. Check out. I'm going to press basically. See if you can. Probably can't see, but suspension's so soft. You know when it's getting pretty serious when you've got the seats out. Yeah, progress is really, really good so far. So yeah, check it out. Just taken the main carpet out of the KA and look what I found. £2 English. Literally, pretty much, if I'd have known that was in there, that's pretty much doubled the value of the car. So yeah, happy days. Get a beer with that. Well, that's pretty much it, guys, because we've got to a point of pretty much a natural kind of place where we can halt. Light's starting to kind of go down, and we're probably going to run out of good light where I am. So yeah, as you can see, the car is pretty stripped to high heaven. I'm really pleased with it. The car, by and large, is really quite clean. The reason why I've stopped is actually we've got to a point where you've got some sound deadening in the back there, and that's right behind the bulkhead, and basically acts as a firewall and sound deadening. But there's a lot of weight in there, and that does need to come off. But apparently all of the dash needs to pretty much come out, and apparently part and some of all of the steering column has to come out. Apparently that's a bit of a pig of a job. So that's going to be half a day's job doing that. So we're going to stop there. So yeah, we're at a point where we're pretty much may as well stop. So yeah, we're ready with the basically pretty much prepped and ready for the cage and the seats as well. And we'll obviously take the steering column out while we're doing that. Put the new steering wheel boss on and new steering wheel when we get that, when we decide what we're going for. Get the cage in, get the seats in, and yeah, rock and roll. Obviously lift the car up, get the suspension on, brakes on, polybush. That's going to be a fun job. Anyway, that's the end of our video, guys. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and we will see you again on the next one. Bye for now.